Hey, welcome back to Mr. Smith Garage. We're here in the garage with Lars the EuroVan. I know you guys are all saying, when is that guy ever going to get back on Lars? Well, let's just say it has been a very hot summer. I was out actually in the garden this afternoon and noticing I've got a lot of trees that had some severe sunburn damage. And I know a lot of people around town do as well. If I were working on Lars, there's my garage door. Right out that garage door is the sunset. I would have had some damage myself. So anyway, what we're doing today, at least the plan today, is to get that CV joint. See the CV joint way back in that hole back in there? We're going to get that CV joint attached and get this buttoned up. I went back and looked at, in fact here you can kind of see right back in there. In fact, I'm going to point it out with my, right here is where one of our holes is, and transaxle's right back behind that. I went back and looked at one of my videos and noticed that this is about 5 months ago or so that I took these off, and we actually got the engine down and rebuilt the engine, and now the engine's back up there. And these last 3 or 4 months in the summer have been really hot, and so I've learned a little bit about filming, cutting out a lot of the long pauses and trying to make it more interesting with throwing some verbiage in there in places where maybe I didn't know the answer. I did have to go back and look at quite a few videos to see how to get this thing back together, but it's not too hard. We're gonna just whip in there. Here's the hardware that I've taken off of this side. So you can see here's for the CV with these little retainers, and then this is for, goes across the bottom A-arm, and from here over to the shock absorber on this side, and then these two bolts here come up underneath this section right here. It holds that bottom torsion arm into where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to put you on a stand here, and hopefully we'll get you in there where you can see a little bit about what's going on up there. Actually, what I'm going to do first is clean these up a little bit. See, there's quite a bit of dirt in there. I got to get a pick so I can pick it out of there. Make it really difficult for that triple square to seat in there. Trying to get that pretty cleaned out. Those were pretty clean. All right, I got Zero, my sidekick here. I want to take a minute, or a few seconds, just to thank my viewers. I think I'm close to 400 subscribers. So if you are not a subscriber and you're interested in what I'm doing here, please subscribe. We're trying to shoot for the moon and have just a ton of subscribers, but really what we're doing here in this garage is we just kind of do whatever comes our way, and so far, like, the EuroVans kind of come our way, the Sea-Doos kind of came our way and became a thing we've done for the last few years. And so here's where our CV joint attaches into our transaxle, and so I'm using a little what is this, a 3/8 inch extension to get in there and kind of try to make sure I'm close to the right hole. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get this aligned with one of our bolts with a retainer on it, and we're going to put it on the triple square with an extension. You can see we're putting the triple square in there, making sure it's good and seated, putting it on the end of a 1/4 inch one. And then let's see if we can get this into kind of where we want it to be. Okay, I'm just telling you, I haven't done this before. This is new to me, but it's very similar to what we would do on a VW Vanagon, which is what I normally work on. We're catching threads. No, we're not catching threads yet. So obviously we gotta maybe lift it up a little bit. Maybe we're not in the right spot. Man, I feel like it's close, like it should be where it's at. But then again, it's hard to say based on what we're looking at here. Okay, I don't know how I did it. I got sweat dripping down in my eyes, but I got it started. This is probably the harder one of the two because what I had to do was get a bolt in there and then try to lift this up from underneath because it's, remember, I loosened those bolts, and so needed to get the axle closer to the transaxle to get it in there. So anyway, I got it started. So that's that's the first step. So now I think I'm going to show you if you can still see anything in there. We'll see what you can see. I think now that I've got it started, it should be a little bit easier each one, but we shall see. Yeah, they're all going in now, which is nice. So I'm just kind of getting them in there. And then here, I'll show you what we're going here. So I got one in there, now I'm turning the wheel so I can get access to that next one. Put it right on there. I just want to make sure that that's really snug on there. Might have gotten that one a little tight. So let's go in with the little 3/8 inch thing and see if I can, there we go. Just had to kind of get that retainer a little bit better aligned. Now that they're all in there, see, I can just thread it in. At least I think I can. Let's see if that's getting, yeah, that's going in there. The dog got in the way of my light. Zero's checking out the action there. So then we just spin the disc here. Get to the next one. Let's see here. I know you're not seeing what I'm seeing, but basically I'm putting this into the retainer. We're getting a triple square on there so that it's snug. And then we're running it back through here so that it gets in the right spot. Let's just say it's not an easy, it is not the easiest side to get in there. And then once I get that one on, we back it off so we can see that retainer piece. Got one nut left to get in. There we go. You can kind of see that. Okay, like I said, that was not easy, and I am sweating a little bit. But now what we got to do is kind of tighten it up. And I think I learned this from somebody else's. I showed it on my last video, but basically you find a slot here through the, see how it's got the brake rotor is fluted. Find a spot that we could stick this in. So it basically keeps this in the same spot right now. And I want to make sure my axle nut is on there enough that the spline isn't going to spin around the back. You can see that where the CV goes into the carrot, whatever you call that thing. It's not it's the rotor holder. It's splined, and so this bolt that's on the outside here holds that in. And so we just want to make sure that it's tight so that when I use the torque wrench, it will torque it down. So hopefully you can see what's going on here. I'm just going to torque this a little bit. Not to spec, but so that it's tight. I'm going to take that out, spin it 1/6 of a turn, find the next one. I did have a comment from one of my viewers that said, you know, try to get more close-up shots because I'm using a GoPro and it's not the best for, I mean, it's what I have now. So I'll try and get you some shots in there of what's going on so that you can see. If I had this up on a lift, it might be a little different, like my buddy Tim. He's got a really nice lift. If you're noticing my bandage, I gave blood today. I think she said it was my 54th time, maybe 56th time, at least it's on record. Yes, I felt good about that. It's always nice to, if you got people that you know that need blood every once in a while, to give a little bit. Your body reproduces it so quickly, you might as well give some away if your blood's good. They're always asking me what kind of foreign countries I'm going to, because I guess there's certain places you can't go and then give blood. You gotta wait for 6 months, so try to stay out of those countries. But one of these days I'm probably gonna go to like South America or India for more than 24 hours. And my claim to fame is that I've been to India for 23 hours. In the airport, I didn't leave the airport. And then I've also been to Singapore, but that was, I think, only for 3 hours. So there's some countries that would put you on a deferral list for giving blood. Now what I'm going to do is try and get the shock absorber, this little rod, back into the right spot, and then I've got 2 bolts down here that I need to get back in to hold everything together. Into a little bit of alignment. Oh yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay. Like I was saying, Tim, if I had a lift, that's in. Okay, that's on. Okay, just like that. 21 it is. Okay, we gotta torque these ones down. And now it's time to also torque the bolts inside here. So let me get my torque specs and we'll be right back. All right, it's 8 o'clock at night and it just creeped up to 91 degrees in here. So I have the garage doors open. You know, sometimes that happens. It just gets too hot. I was sweating like crazy, but I got everything kind of set up the way that we needed to. If you recall, we were working on these flange, well, I don't know if they're called flange bolts, but basically now I need to torque them down. I've got my shock absorber bolt and my torsion arm bolt in, and then the 2 bolts that were underneath the disc that are holding that bottom ball joint on are in. And so now we just need to have something hold this tight while I do 59 foot-pounds of torque on each of those triple square bolts. You want to make sure you get that triple square really well seated in there. Houses. Just double check, make sure I got it all the way through. Yep, got all 6 of them. And that's how you do it. This bolt here is 111 foot-pounds. So I'm going to do that one next, just because I need to make sure I get that tightened. I don't want to forget it. Okay, that's a 27 millimeter. And I did torque it down a little bit. Let's see if we got it to 110 or not. Huh? That's 111. Just double check. 110 plus 1. So there we go. Don't forget to pull your screwdriver out. And we're all done with one side. I'm going to do the same on the other side, but you don't need to see it on film. Hey, thanks for joining Mr. Smith Garage. Like I said, we are close to 400 subscribers. Why don't you be the 400th or maybe the 500th? Like, subscribe. Hope you enjoy the show on Lars the EuroVan, 2002 EuroVan. Excited to get him out of the garage.